ask people if they want to be recorded or not. Anyway, let's. Am I still screen sharing? No.
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 Yeah.
Okay. We should be on that one.
There we go. Yep.
Got it? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I'm recording it on video on my screen, and I'm also recording the audio, so it's fine. We won't see you guys, just hear your voices. I should do a start, shouldn't I? Welcome everyone to the wonderful Hyper M Awards. It's such a glorious event. We have a star-studded cast of the three of us, myself, Jack, and Jay, to basically have a look and see who won. We can have a bit of a discussion about the results. And I didn't. I realised just now that I didn't do the Rookie of the Year like I did last time. And Richard, who's Lambretta on Twitter, was saying to me earlier, "Are we going to do like all the categories, like those ones we did last year?" I couldn't be bothered, so we can have a chat about it at the end and see what we think, like what it maybe our favourite moments of the year were and things like that. But I think we're just gonna crack straight on. So what's on the screen at the moment for the people watching on the video, and you guys can see it too. That's what the Hyper M's were at the end of round 16 for the top 25. So obviously Tom Trbojevic is not going to finish in the top 25, and there's a few others there that they're probably going to drop down. But interesting top 10. You got Reece Walsh, Sean Johnson, Harry Grant, Dylan Edwards, Nick Meaney, Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt, last year's winner. Jermaine Hopgood, Isaiah Yeo, William Kennedy, and Tom Dearden. I'd hazard at least a few of those will not finish in the top 10. Especially someone like William Kennedy didn't play many games after this.
Yep.
And so we'll do that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click forward on each of them. I've got them running as one round at a time as GIFs. So I'm not going to I might sort of note the players who scored and stuff like that as they go through, and then we'll look at the table, we'll do a bit of a morph thing, and then we'll just keep going. So round 17. Oh, did that jump? That jumped. 1 second, sorry. Let's try that again. Oh, no, it keeps jumping.
Still jumping.
Keeps jumping. All right. We'll see if we can...
Will the arrow key do it?
Yeah, maybe. No, it just keeps jumping. Okay, because all right. What I'll do, I'll let it run to the end, and then we'll jump back. I don't know why I did that. Sorry. I think because I did it as a trial. Okay, so that was the last game of that round. Let's see if we can try again. No, it's not going to freaking do it. Can you run it again? Play. Open with... Oh, that's not going to help you because you can't see it. Oh, why is it going to do that to me? Okay, I can pull the older results. I can pull the results out for that one. I can find them. Yeah, this is going real good to start. Okay, so if you saw it really quickly, it was. Oh no, don't do that. If I restore these, all right. Let's see if I can get this to go back the other way. No, it won't let me. Hold on, there we go. Okay, cool. So I can do them one by one. Okay, so this is the game where Warriors won quite easily. I think to note, Sean Johnson, who was at the top, or near the top, he scored some points. Ben Hunt didn't score any points, so we've got the Dolphins against the Eels. That was a fantastic game, and I enjoyed it for the first half. Gutherson scoring some points. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was 40-0.
That was when it was about 30-0 at half time.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah. And then they just stopped playing. That's when they stopped playing the whole season. So just the end of this game. Interestingly, when we get to the end, we'll sort of do the little thing of what each team's best players are. And I feel like with Parramatta, Gutherson scored quite well sometimes when people just weren't sure who else to put in there, like in some of the crap games. So we'll see if that gets him to the top. This is when the Hammer was playing all right, but in a pretty well-beaten side. So Targo got the points for Penrith there. Once again, this is very much like the Dally M's in a way, because being in a good side does make it a bit harder. But, I think this game was quite tight. Isn't that the game that the Knights and the draw or something?
This is the the infamous Christian Welch press conference game.
That's right.
Oh,
When,
yes. How did they
pretty
not
much all
win
their
this?
reserve grade in.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay.
And then the Knights started their run.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Which on Twitter, I almost got lambasted by the fact that I said, "Hey, it's pretty easy to go on a big run when you're playing no one." Like their run was a bit assisted by the fact they played the Bulldogs and the West Tigers. And
They did turn off the Storm.
they did. But Storm played terribly that day. That was a really bad game for them. Everyone who they played was out of form. Like Canberra played badly.
Yeah.
Everyone played badly against them. So, but I suppose you've got to make teams play bad. So talking of the Storm, that's their game against the Seagulls. Maybe I should have just done it this way. Just clicked them one by one. But anyway, we'll see if we can get the thing working next time. I find it's interesting with the Broncos. Is this when Reece Walsh was suspended? I think he was suspended at this point. The 3 game for mouthing off.
This is the game where he swore at the ref.
Oh, is it the game? Okay, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, because David Fafita was the player witness from the other team.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
It was too.
That's right. Yeah, I like that one. No, he said it to him. Oh, no, he didn't say it to him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, and so this is the game where I'm assuming the Cowboys won quite easily. Drinkwater scoring some points is obviously going to help him. Souths were very disappointing this year, I got to say.
The Cowboys put about 30 on them in that game.
Yeah, I remember I was doing, like, you always at the start of the year, you always do your, where do you think they'll finish, the sort of end of the year table. And not this year, but last year, I actually thought the Souths would actually finish out of the top 8. And I was completely wrong. Like, they still finished 7th or whatever, but I had this feeling like, they're going to finish out of the 8. This year, I thought they'd actually come close to winning it. And they just...
Yeah, I had them playing Penrith in the grand final.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had fears.
Yeah, I thought they'd be really good, and it was they really didn't change anyone, and I thought, it's going to be very stable, and they're going to get, all their best players are going to be out there, and they've got such a good side, and I don't know what happened to them. See, they had a run that wasn't even that hard at the end, and they dropped some games they really shouldn't have dropped. Like, yeah. Anyway, that's my comment on Souths, and so that's the last one of the round. That's when Roosters and the Raiders played. No doubt a weird game because the Raiders were in it. So I'll do this, see if this does what it's supposed to do. Yep, okay. So it did a little morph. So Reece Walsh is still on top. Sean Johnson's still in second. Harry Grant, Edwards, Hopgood. It's fairly similar. I think some players have moved around a little bit. William Kennedy started his drop down.
Got those thumbs up.
And we've lost Travojevic for the last time. All right, I'm going to try this again. See if this will do what I want it to do. It looks like it's doing it. Okay, so this should automatically morph. Okay, yeah. So,
cool.
If we see anything that's interesting, I can't really pause it because there's a GIF. But yeah, it looks some interesting ones for everyone. I like that the West Tigers don't score any points at all.
I think I had that game.
And then the Bulldogs don't score any points. This is the game when the Knights won 66-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's the last one of the round. So if I go forward again, it'll do a little morphy for that round. And Sean Johnson jumps to the top.
Ooh.
Reece Walsh behind him now. Harry Grant's solidly in third. He hasn't moved very far. Dearden and Edwards are doing okay. Haas jumped up because he got a few points by 0.01 of a point behind Dylan Edwards. And Drinkwater. And then there's a few down here that have got a chance of making runs, but we'll see.
Ponga.
Yeah, you see Ponga there?
Yeah.
He may come from somewhere.
I assume Brown is about to fall out.
Yeah, I would assume so. He doesn't play for quite a few rounds, so I assume he comes out there.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Let's jump to the next one. So, good old Alex Seyfarth got some points. I haven't been saying who puts points in and whatever, but you guys can all see. Yeah, that was a bad game. And Bulldogs winning. That was a good game there. I should try and put the score up so that people know what the score
was. Was that the game that Titans led 30-0?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, was it this? No, that was the other one.
Earlier in the season.
That was one earlier in the season. This is the one. Yeah, this is the one the Dolphins.
Game, isn't it?
It still was crazy. I think it was still a bit of a weird game, but yeah, I think this is the one the Dolphins didn't the Dolphins win this one?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they've got a higher multiplier, so yeah, you'd
think
assume
so.
so.
I think so.
Yeah, it was the penalty goal in extra time.
Yeah, that's right, and that's why the points are high too, because it was a higher
Yeah.
quality kind of game. Well, at a point, higher quality. It's hard to give quality to things like this. Like metrics are very hard to do, but
Yeah.
I'm still working on whether the system is right and everything like that. But I think I've got it right at the moment. What it does all the stuff it did last year, but it also tries to judge on a game by how fast the play the balls are. So the faster the play the balls, the better higher quality game, and also how many meters they make per set on average. So if both teams are making a lot of meters, then it's a
Okay.
end-to-end kind of game. So you think, oh, that's got to be high quality because they're making more meters, and both teams are doing it. If one team's making a lot more than the other, then it's low quality. So I'm still not sure if that's right, but it feels like I got better results. Like there were some games early, I kind of added that in because there was games early in the year. Like there was the game when Penrith played the Rabbitohs, like that really good game the Rabbitohs won right at the end, and it was super intense. But because of where guys were in terms of like finishing, like where the ladder was and stuff, it wasn't giving them all the points. And I went, no, that's not fair. Like that game's worth a lot more than some of the others. So I think it's worked out all right. Anyway, so with our little Morphe thing, Sean Johnson increases his lead a bit at the top there. Still got the same top three. Jermaine Hopgood's making a good run of it.
Yeah.
I think he's doing okay. Ben Hunt's sort of dropping away. Where's Ponga? Ponga's still down here. I don't know if it's anyone else. Dylan Brown's still held on, which is amazing. But yeah, I think it's just because the next guy is probably just behind that.
Yeah.
So this is Ponga scored some points there. Reynolds getting absolute points because he was in there. Dearden getting maximum points there is helping him.
3/4 twos in.
Yeah.
Few
Olakau'atu.
Yep.
Meany and Grant.
Sean Johnson scoring for 4.
Johnson. Yeah.
Points.
And then Moses scored this time for Parramatta rather than whatever. And Tino, interesting thing will be when we get to the end of the season for some of the players that aren't whatever. Who was the best for each team? And that was a huge change because Johnson jumped way up. Dearden got in front of him. Walsh has jumped up. So yeah, a few of them have dropped down, and Ponga's come from nowhere.
Meany.
Yeah,
Meany's come back up.
Yeah.
and
Meany
some
and
of these are
Drinkwater
going to drop away.
Pushing Edwards and Hartstown.
Interesting. All right, so
This feels pretty accurate for where the comp was at the time too.
well, I think so.
yeah.
I think it's about right. I mean, you look at it. That's Warriors, Cowboys, Broncos, Storm, Cowboys, Storm.
Yeah, they were in their run at that time.
Probably needed a few more Penrith players a bit higher up, but
Like,
Again,
Penrith
you've
share
got
the
a
points
that
quite a
quality
lot,
of
though.
side. That's it. You're taking points
Yeah.
off each other.
yeah. I try not to make
Whereas,
that the
like,
way, but that seems to be what still happens in this
just-
kind of thing.
It's just natural, isn't it?
Well, I think what's happened is because you got Yo and you got Edwards, right? They're the top two there, but then you got to remember, I suppose, for Penrith that they didn't have like Cleary for a long period of time, so he's down here somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he's probably
he
going to
was
make a
4 or
run at
5
the end because
games.
he was good at the end of the year, and then some of the other guys. That's my dog's barking. Some of the other guys, like a Luai or something like that, they don't really score well because people don't like them. So.
Yeah.
Your best scorers are going to be Edwards and Yo, namely. Like, I think when I did some of the Penrith games this year, two of the guys I gave it to because they're consistently good. So
They're always good.
yeah, so they're gonna score points. All right, so
It's like Melbourne. Harry Grant generally always. If Melbourne goes okay, Harry Grant has a good game.
yeah, that's right. We'll see Harry Grant's up there, but Meany had a really good year. So if there was a most improved award, I reckon Meany might get it this year. He's maybe him. I mean, Hopgood's pretty damn good as most improved, but
Yeah.
like Meany was excellent. All right, next up. So there's not much to
Compared to
write
last
home
year,
in that
Sean
one.
Johnson.
Sean Johnson scoring again. Reece Walsh
Against
scoring
last year,
again.
most improved. Yeah, Haas as well.
Tedesco. And the Knights, once again, they Ponga, but I think Ponga was out. Then Drinkwater
Meany got
scoring again.
The 1 point again.
Yep. And
No,
then
this was a
Serkic.
low game.
Yeah, they didn't do too well that time. All right, so we'll jump to the next bit.
Jumping back up.
So it looks like Johnson's really pulling away here,
Yeah.
and we'll see if that continues. But it's going to be pretty tough for anyone to catch him. It's still the same kind of people at the top, sort of 5 or 6. I think he must have come back from injury and got a good game because I didn't notice that.
He did. I just saw he got top points, but Hines has come
I think
up.
he scored a hat trick or something.
Yeah. Hines has come up, and then Ponga's still there around, but these points are really close. There's not a lot in here, so it just takes one good game to jump past everyone. Like you can see, like Hopgood was here and now he's down here, and he didn't have a bad game. These guys all had better games, so they just jumped past him. All right, I don't know what number we're up to, but let's keep going. So we got Mam scoring there.
Haas got some points again.
Yeah.
Damien Cook.
Hughes is 3 games in a row. He's got points.
Good for
Ponga,
Grant,
3.69.
Oh.
More big score.
Max.
Cherry Evans, another one.
And then Cleary gets some good
There's
points
Cleary.
there as well.
No points for Edwards too.
Yep. And Drinkwater scoring.
Drinkwater again. Dearden.
Yep. And we'll see what that does. So Drinkwater jumps ahead of Dearden.
Dearden third.
Yep. Reece Walsh, Harry Grant, same kind of guys. Ponga's jumped all the way up in the 7th, so he keeps yo-yoing around. Have we seen? Well, Cleary's jumped onto the board finally.
Hughes is up to 13.
Yep, he's doing all right. So a few of these guys, I think, will just stick around this point and just jump up and down a little bit.
Cleary should sort of rise from here.
Yeah, see, I think this will be interesting because he is 12 points behind at this point. So we'll see if he's got enough time to get it and Sean Johnson's got to be not scoring points in some games. The interesting one is obviously there's buys that come in here too. So some of these times they're not playing.
Yep.
So there's still teams with buys. While Kawatu scoring, but this is a pretty low scoring game. Johnson gets points again.
Yeah.
Cleary gets more points than him. Harry Grant got points. Haas and Drinkwater. Ponga scoring 3 again.
3.
I think what I find is some of these teams like this, like the points kind of get shared around a lot more. And that's what kind of happens in some of those guys. Like no one from the Raiders is going to be in the top 25. I don't think there is any.
No.
It's interesting how you've got the really good teams. Some of them, like a Penrith, the points are shared, but then you have very inconsistent teams where the points are shared because it's a different player stepping up each week.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, when we get to the end and I show you who finished the top for each team, it's going to be interesting because the fact is that some of them, like some of the shit teams, they might be by far and away better than everyone else, but they're still like 10 points behind the winner of the overall winner, or 15 points behind the overall winner.
Yeah.
So this, I wish I put which round they were in. Anyway, I don't know. Whatever round the Roosters played Manly in, I think that's like
Cleary jumping Edwards there.
Yep. Yeah, he's jumped up from down here. He's all the way up to here now.
Yeah.
So there's a distinct line about here where these are the ones that are trying to chase, and these are the big guys at the top. So probably from about Ponga up.
Yeah.
And everyone down underneath that line, I reckon. Like none of these guys are going to be in contention. I don't think they're going to get there.
You look at them and you think their teams didn't win all the games at the end. They started to fall away.
Well, that's the thing, right? So we go. I mean, Edwards has still got some chance. Kawatu, Manly is very inconsistent. There's no way that Ben Hunt won enough games. Fafita's didn't win enough games. Manly didn't win enough. Sharks maybe, but he's probably going to share points. Parramatta didn't win a lot of games. Hughes has got a chance, but he's got other guys in front of him there. Anthony Blake's an interesting one. He's done quite well. And then down here, there's no way. Like Tedesco to score a lot of points towards the end. He had some good games at the end, but I don't think I think being 15 behind might be a bit too much, especially when Sean Johnson keeps scoring points. Well,
it's interesting too. How the Dragons, they lost pretty much every week, but they were always fairly close games. And Ben Hunt is usually their best player.
Yeah.
So it's like... You can
Well, that's
really
how he
see
won.
why he's
That's how he
he's
won
there,
last
but
year.
not quite going to win it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how he won last year. But the difference between this year and last year is I feel like he wasn't consistently always their best player. Like he wasn't getting all
Yeah.
the points all the time. And I think
'Cause
last year when
they
he
were
won,
having that. Yeah, they're having the all the issues around whether he wanted to stay or leave or get out now, and I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
affected his input a bit as well.
and he definitely didn't have as good a year this year than he did last year.
No,
Like it was definitely
Definitely
nowhere close.
Yeah, not a chance.
Yeah, and I feel like these top 10. I feel like they are some of the better players. Like I can't think of too many players outside of this top 10 that I think would deserve to be the best player.
no.
So-
And some of those, like when Cowboys performed, Drinkwater and Dearden were two of their guns.
Yeah, exactly.
Nearly every time they performed.
All right, let's see. So that's that game. Cleary scoring
Cleary.
3 again.
3 points.
And once again, see Cronulla scoring points, but whatever. Let's never talk about this game ever again.
Oh, yeah.
And then Adafunu and Blake, but Sean Johnson only scoring 0.54 makes a big difference to that. And yeah, Munster scoring points, not Meany, which is interesting. And yeah,
No Ponga.
no Ponga in that game, or no Ponga scoring points. And yeah, a good 0.08 points for Corey Waddell there.
That's
Like
surely
Squid
bringing him
instead.
back into the run.
Interesting.
His
Yeah.
dad's a lovely man, actually. Yeah.
He played for Penrith. He passed away, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I played cricket with him. He was a year older than me in footy, but he was in my cricket team.
He
Big
bought
fast
an
bowler.
entire pub in Penrith, a bunch of red noses for Red Nose Day. Because my mum worked there, so she's always loved him since that.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm not sure if that what round that was, but we'll jump ahead. I'll be able to tell when that was Cowboys Sharks.
Drinkwater again.
Oh, Connor Tracy. Ooh.
Yeah, Connor Tracy, the renaissance of Connor Tracy.
He had
Okay,
a
that
good
was
end to the
Roosters
year,
one.
didn't he?
So this is round 25, I think. If I'm correct. Cleary scoring
Cleary
again. Ben Hutt's not
Hughes
scoring
is
enough.
back.
Ponga with a good score there.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, these ones don't really matter that much. So this will be round 25. Ponga into third. Johnson's still ahead, but the lead's not... I don't know, the lead's not too bad.
He hasn't won it yet, no.
He hasn't won yet, but it's getting to a point where it's pretty tough to beat him. Although he didn't score all the points in that round, so it depends.
Yeah.
But
It almost rules out Nathan Cleary downwards.
yeah, I
You'd think,
Especially because Penrith lose their final round game.
True.
yes. Well, no, they win in the final round, don't they? Didn't you guys beat the Cowboys?
Oh, sorry, I meant the
Yes.
Parramatta game.
Yeah,
Second round,
but
yeah,
he doesn't
second
play in the
You
last
just wanted
round.
me to mention it.
He doesn't play in the last round. That's the problem. I think what's going to
Yes.
happen here is it's going to
Yeah, he
matter
does.
who's in
He
the
does,
last
actually.
round. Because some of these guys are not going to keep playing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should get to that round because I'd like to pause it on that one. All right, I think that's next. I think that's the next one. Let's see. Yes, there you go. So Dylan Brown scored the points, which I didn't agree with, but that's
Yeah.
fine. Blake Drinkwater 3.8.
Yeah.
Munster.
Hughes, Grant.
Grant, that's bad for Grant, I think. Only 0.97.
And then Reece Walsh scores 3.38.
Ooh, okay.
Daly Cherry Evans. Ponga scored
Oh,
4.21.
wow.
And I think the Warriors had the bye. I didn't see the Warriors there.
Yeah, the Warriors had a bye.
So going into this is going into the last round then, isn't it? So if I do this,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's round 26. Yeah.
so he's in front.
Whoa.
0.72 and Drinkwater just behind. So any of those three could win, but
Depends on who
Cowboys lose
played.
the last.
Depends on who actually played.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, because we're just before the last round, I'm going to click this forward. What I did is I did another one which I like to call Mr. Fantastic. So I used the same multipliers and I applied them to their fantasy points from the NRL.com fantasy points. And so Sean Johnson, he can have an award for Mr. Fantastic because he scored the most fantasy points based on how much, like it's a little metric I did. There's that one. And then here's for the teams where they finished. But anyone who's still in contention, I took their score away. So basically, best player for these teams. So Reece Walsh, I didn't put his scoring because obviously I don't want to give it away. Tomoko was the best player for the Raiders, which is interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd have gone Tapine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty close.
Yeah, Canberra.
Once again, I mean,
Yeah, not much in it. Yeah.
Burton being the best player.
Probably in a very ordinary Canterbury team. Yeah.
I mean, Averillo coming second and they didn't want him anymore was hilarious.
Yeah.
Everyone gave points to Perrin very early on in the season, so that's what happened. Nico,
Look
best
how far
for...
out. Sorry, yeah.
That's all right. Keep going.
I'll get to it in a sec. No. We're going to do them next. I'll do it. Yep.
So Nico, Britain, yeah, they were pretty close. Yeah, look how far Sako's in front of everyone else.
Okay, Miles,
Being top try scorer in the comp in a bottom 4 team really helps, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And probably too the lot of injuries that they had too. So like they were having so many different players play.
Well, I reckon if Hamaso had played fullback for the whole year, he might have been their best player.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wasn't bad when he moved, but he was no longer explosive. You didn't notice him anymore.
Yeah, and so no one scored him any points. And yeah, Fafita, he had a great year. I mean, Tino scores points just by sneezing, but Fafita was really good as well. So that's the. I'm just going to do it 6 teams at a time.
All the time.
Sorry?
Fafita was a standout almost every game. He just doesn't get the,
Yeah.
the kudos because everyone spent all last year bagging him.
Yeah, because he spent too much money. They spent too much money on him.
Yeah, and people think he should be breaking a try and breaking tackles and scoring a try every time he touches the ball.
I think it was hilarious. Like last year, the Titans fans are going, oh, we're going to get rid of Fafita. And there were all these clubs lining up going, oh, yeah, we'll take him. There was a whole heap of them. He was going to be in Canberra, wasn't he? I think Canberra wanted him.
Yeah, there was a very well made up rumor about Penrith.
Yeah.
That I may have done to trick a journalist or a fake journalist that I didn't like, and the club ended up coming out with a statement about it, which I thought was really funny.
The main difference for the Titans as well was Fafita played on the same side as Kieran Foran, and they struck up a really good relationship.
Yeah.
And you can see that Foran knew exactly when to bring him onto the ball, exactly when to bring him into the game, and Fafita, for his part, actually spent a lot of time doing the tackling and the hard hitting and the running and putting himself in a position as well. But Foran was feeding him. It was really good to see.
We'll do the next one and then we might, because we've only got about a minute and a half to go, so we'll click on the next one and then we might have to jump out and jump back in. So this is the next 6 teams.
all the games he's missed, Trbojevic still came in 4th for Manly.
Yeah. I mean, Daly Cherry Evans and Olakau'atu definitely their best 2. Yeah. Obviously, Harry Grant's got to be Melbourne's best because he's in contention still. Ponga's obviously going to be their best. But, yeah, it's still pretty tight. Like, Hughes did okay.
Yeah, considering the games he missed. But you look at that, and if you think back, you look at each team, and that's a pretty fair reflection. It shows our collective judging, I think, is pretty good, and your metrics as well.
Yeah.
Because I want to look at those, and there's no one really that stands out and goes, well, how did they get on the list? How were they in the top 5 players? They probably all are.
Yeah, I think
you look at Melbourne, and they're
I would have said Jake ahead of Tom.
Yeah, maybe. But see, Tom scores points just by being Tom.
Yeah, I think there's some players who, just because they're consistently quality, there's no standout in their performance. So you kind of, it's almost like you don't notice them as much. Whereas a fullback or a halfback who'll score the try or set up the try, whereas Jake just consistently makes 30 tackles, does his job, and so you kind of, it doesn't stand out to you a lot. He might grab the 1 points, but not the 2 and 3s often.
Yeah, fair enough. We run out, so right as he finished what he was saying. you doing, baby girl? What you having? Okay.
I would wait for you, but
Don't wait for me. I won't be too much longer, but don't wait for me. I don't want you to have to wait. I want you to enjoy. Oh. Okay. I'm glad you said that. Well, I wasn't talking to people in between when the Zoom went out.
don't think about my gooey undercarriage.
Okay, you can. Might as well stop now. Okay, so that's on, and I'll have to share the screen again. Hopefully, I don't lose what we're on to. Oh, good. Okay, I did it. Very worried about it going. So, what I will do, I've got that on pause, and I'll. That's okay. The people who listen to this on the YouTube, I'm not going to bother editing this part. So, if you are listening still and watching along on the YouTube part, good on you. Like, that's really awesome. Anyone listening on the podcast part, you're not going to hear this because I've already paused. So, yeah, stuff. Fuck you all. Anyway, I think I just made the video for YouTube have to be adult rated now by saying that. But that's all right. Hey Jay, how you doing? I could hear you in the background. That's why I'll just keep talking to myself. So close, Jay. Prelim.
Yes. It's one of those ones like because I went to the game and I got asked, "Were you disappointed they lost?" I went, "No, it was like playing with house money." I went there thinking we were going to get pumped. We got pumped.
Yeah.
So I kind of wasn't disappointed because Penrith are just. I've been saying all year, Penrith and Brisbane are a class above.
Yeah.
And Melbourne, yeah, the gap between Melbourne and the top couple of sides is the biggest it's ever been since Bellamy's been the coach.
Yeah.
So I actually feel Melbourne overachieved this year because I don't think they were that good.
Yeah, I didn't think so either, but they just kept winning games when they needed to win them, and that was the thing. The difference between the sides that finished from 3 to 7 or 3 to 8 kind of thing, and the ones that I'd say 3 to 8, and the teams that finished 9 to 11 or so. It's not a huge difference between them, but I think it was just when they needed to win games, they won them. I didn't think Cronulla were very good. I thought they were really pretty shit, but they were just able to win enough games early on and be up high enough that they didn't. And then they got that win against South was huge because that goes the other way, and all of a sudden I think Cronulla are out the back door. But they got that win against South, and
whereas the Eels and the Cowboys were the other way, they started really poorly, and couldn't pick up the ground. They went on a bit of a run, both of them, but when you're forever chasing and got to win every game, I think it just that pressure it gets to you and you fall away.
Yeah, I think for the Cowboys they were a lot further back and they had that good run, but they just ran into better sides a few times, and I actually thought they were way too far back. I never thought they were going to get there. I didn't think we weren't. I thought we were going to make it. Like the whole year, I thought we were going to get there because I could see the sign of I could see the sign of it. I could see the promise there. And I kept thinking we just got to get these wins, and they just kept dropping games that they shouldn't have dropped. Like if they had played consistently good all year, they wouldn't have dropped 2 or 3 of those games. And the difference between, like I said, the difference between one win was huge. Like one more win gets them in, and 2 or 3 more wins probably gets them in the top 4. That's how ridiculous it was.
Yeah, that was the same. Because for me, they were a team. I didn't pick. I picked them at the start of the year to miss the 8.
Yeah.
But then later in the season, I kind of judged Penrith the yardstick. So to me, it was like, who can I see beating Penrith? And to the back end of the year, even before they played Penrith, I thought Parramatta is a team who could beat Penrith.
Yeah.
But then they dropped that 1 or 2 key games, and by the time they got to play Penrith, it didn't matter.
Yeah, they had a really bad run before Penrith. I don't know what they were doing, but they just those games where they play, like the game where they played the Warriors. That was the game where they had no Moses, no Gutherson, and RCG because of State of Origin, and they got completely pumped. And that was like I think that just that lost all the momentum for them, and they just couldn't recover. It took them too long to recover, and then finally they played good. I know Penrith rested a few guys in that game, but I don't think it would have mattered. I think if Penrith played their full side, I think Parramatta still should have won. We probably should have won by more. Penrith were really not that good, and Parramatta.
Yeah, you put the brakes on once you had a lead.
Yeah,
to be honest.
and that was pretty shit.
And it made Penrith score like 2 quick ones.
Yeah, and that's fine. They just had to win. I think they just had to win to prove it to themselves. And then I knew once we lost to the Roosters, I knew it was over. If we could have won that game, I thought maybe we had a chance. But yeah, once there was some weird mathematical chance still when we beat Penrith, but it was never going to happen. So anyway, we should probably keep recording. I'm just going to put the record back on.
I thought we were recording.
No, not. Well, we're recording the video, but not the audio. So I'll hit record on the audio now.
Yeah.
So we're back on, and I'm still screen sharing, I think. Am I?
Yep. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Good. Okay. How do I bring it back up? All right. So yeah, look, I think we were just kind of getting through these 6 that are on the screen now. I mean, there's no surprise for me with the Parramatta 5. I don't think Dylan Brown was that good, but people don't like Mitchell Moses, so that's why he scores more than him. I'm not sure why, but they just don't. I think the Warriors one's very interesting because obviously Sean Johnson's going to be, far away their winner. But I really reckon Fanua Blake had an excellent year, and he probably deserves to be their second best team, second best player. And CNK and Egan both had great years as well, and Tohu Harris is always great.
And
So
Tohu's just always good, yeah.
yeah, so that's
I think Warriors are nailed. That's probably the
I'm not
order
sure
I'd
the
have to
logic
top
follows
five.
with Parramatta though, David, because no one likes Clint Gutherson, yet he won it.
yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah, but he is so good.
yeah,
in
Well,
a team
that's
in so many
good, isn't
games.
he?
In so many games this year where there were players out there that dead set looked like they weren't having a go, and you see him sprinting after everything that's on the field. It's like,
yeah.
I think it gives you that perception of like, I don't like him, but we respect him
Yeah,
as a player.
he
still,
gets
I think.
there as well, and he makes the play, and he makes himself matter. So
Yeah,
Well, that's also
he's
to say
always in the
games-
game.
Yeah, in the games that they
Absolutely.
lost in particular, and because there are some games, when I was judging, you kind of go, who do I give it to? Because everyone played pretty poorly, and it'll be effort. You look
Yeah.
for it. And Gutherson's a player you can never fault for effort, regardless of the result. He's just always
Yeah.
doing everything he can, and that will stand him out to me.
Yeah, and I think that's probably another reason why, say for Melbourne, Meaney is there as well too, because he had a
Yes,
great season
yeah.
and he always put the effort in as well, and he was very consistent. Is it consistently in there? See guys like Munster and like Will
Yeah, just
Warbrick
up and
made
down
5th
it.
because there really wasn't anyone else. Because Harry Grant
Because he
took
scored a
most
lot of
the points.
tries. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, interesting. All right, we'll jump to
Almost-
the next one because the next one's got some teams that we were interested in as well.
Ooh.
Sorensen gets 5th for them. Crichton,
Nice.
Edwards, and Yo, and then Cleary's gonna be the top one. I like Coruscant had like a bunch of weeks out and still was 6
Yeah,
points
he
better,
broke his jaw and still won.
and still won it easily. I mean, who else do you give it to? I mean, I like the fact Luke Brooks played only half a season and he still scored more than some of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to say right now that all the people who said, "Oh, Parramatta's going to miss Papali'i," I don't think we missed him.
Yeah.
If that's the effort
No,
he's going
not
to put
on
in,
that.
I think he would have been a lot better if he was at Parramatta, but I think that says a lot
Maybe.
about him.
I
You know what I mean?
saw a bit of even in last year. I always saw that little bit of he was great for how much they were paying him, but I wouldn't pay him
Yeah.
as much as what he wanted. Like it was never going
no
to
way.
be
Massive overs.
massive over for a guy like that. Roosters interesting. I suppose Kiri finishing on top. He did have a pretty good year. Tedesco just scores
And
points.
for all the flack he got, Teddy gets second. Like, yeah, everyone, the criticism he copped this year,
Yeah,
and just still coming.
Still a
second,
great
it
player.
shows that he
He's-
performs. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
they wouldn't have been my picks for the Roosters though.
No.
I had Billy Smith. Billy Smith definitely was an absolute standout for the Roosters this year.
Yeah, but not in enough games,
Lindsay
I don't think.
Collins,
He wasn't playing a lot of the year.
Yeah, he had missed a bit. Lindsay Collins did really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't tend to score
Collins'
many
then
points.
was,
I don't know
was
why
after
people don't give...
Origin.
people don't give Lindsay Collins points. I don't know what it is. It's very tough for him to get points.
But Nat
To me,
Butcher,
it's-
I 100% agree with. Nat Butcher had a season of seasons for him. Very middle player, but just very mid-ability player, but just played above himself all year. And played prop for a couple of games as well.
Yeah,
So
he did all right at prop actually.
big props to him. He did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened to the Rabbitohs this year. If someone can explain that to me, that'd be great. Damien Cook may be their best player. Campbell Graham, the last game they played, where they had to win, I'm not even sure that Campbell Graham played the game. He looked like he was walking the whole game. I don't know what was going on. I think he was still injured.
He looked busted, didn't he?
He just looks so busted. So I'm kind of, in a way, for the Rabbitohs, because I know a guy at work that goes for them, and he kind of said, oh, look, you know, he didn't really mind they didn't win because they weren't going to win the next week. They were going to get absolutely pumped by whoever they played because they were way out of it. And I went, yeah, well, maybe, but, you know, I still want to play finals.
You'd still rather be there.
I'd still rather watch at least 1 week of finals rather than sit on the outside. But, yeah, I mean, Cameron Murray scores points. It's interesting, Ilias scored more points than Cameron Murray.
I don't get that at all.
Yeah.
I don't,
He probably had some good games and he scored a couple of threes and Murray didn't score as many of them. I don't know. I mean, Ben Hunt, the fact that he won by almost 10 points over the next person is just a...
There's not much else in that team.
No.
I agree with that top 5, though.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Blake Laurie had a really good year.
Lomax is interesting because he was so disinterested for half the year. Then at the back end, he really just put in. From about round 18, 19, you just saw a different player, completely different.
It was very interesting, actually, because at that point, just before they sacked the coach, there was my team actually put in a couple of feelers about trying to sign Lomax for the rest of the year and take him off St George's hands. That would be interesting, because it was all. I feel like it was one of those ones that almost happened, and then they sacked the coach, and he's like, "Oh wait, yeah, I just don't like the coach. I'll stick around, see who the next guy is." And yeah, look, I think that. What do you think about the Penrith one, Jack? I think that's pretty good. It's not bad.
Yeah, I think that's pretty close. I'd probably find room for Toto in there.
Yeah.
And I think someone who really went under the radar this year for Penrith was Moses Leota. I think he's a fantastic player, but similar to like a Lindsay Collins, he doesn't get points because
your front rowers don't score points.
He does his unless they're try scoring front rowers.
Yeah.
Well, and that's it, because for me, a number of games I'd have front rows right in the mix, but then in my head I'd go, but they only played 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd discount them because there'd be someone else who's made a bigger contribution over 80.
True, that is true.
Yeah.
That's just because you
do tend to see those players at half time. You're like, if this guy keeps this up, he's walking this game, and then he plays 10 more minutes than the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
That's all right. We don't like forwards in here anyway. So when you guys played footy, I'm assuming you all played footy. Did any of you play in the forwards?
Yeah.
You did.
They tried to move me there as I got older and I had a growth spurt.
Yeah.
I played one game at lock and I was so scared that I touched the ball once and I threw a forward pass.
All right, so Jack's definitely not a forward. I don't think any of the other
Quickly back
guys
out
are.
to the wing.
I played a bit of forwards, but mainly lock, but most often I was halfback.
Well, there you go.
I
Interesting.
played rugby league once, and I played dummy half, and I loved it.
Oh yeah, I played a whole season of dummy half because our dummy half left to play with
Just,
someone
I
else.
like throwing the
Okay,
balls to
yeah,
a big
yeah,
guy and watching
actually.
them get smashed.
I actually
yeah,
played.
dummy half. I played dummy half. Sorry, yeah, but like a forward, not for me.
No. Well, I actually
So
So if
played.
you've got someone on your
um,
team,
I played hooker when you had to rake in the scrums.
Yeah, so did I.
Oh,
That's how old I am.
Oh, they still had raking in the scrums like I did in the 90s, and we still were raking in the scrums. But they changed the rule again because too many guys were getting hurt, and they stopped us doing it again. But I played on a rugby league field. I played in every position apart from front row, and then I actually ended up. I don't know why, for my school team they had like a rugby union, like almost like a union like tens or something. And so the coach was like, "Hey, you play front row." I was like, "Have you seen the size of me? I'm not big enough to play front row." But no one else wanted to do it, so he asked me, and I was like, "All right, fine." So I can't technically say I played every position.
In under sixes.
Yeah.
Under sixes, I started as a front row for Lethbridge Park.
I used to like second row. I used to love second row.
Yeah.
Second row was a great position, but I was actually it was when I was a lot younger and I was bigger than some of the other kids, and then they all got bigger than me, so couldn't play thereafter. But yeah, I used to like that. Anyway, interesting.
If I played now, I'd definitely be a front rower because I'm aware of how tall I am. But back then, I grew like 6 inches in my final year of playing, and I was not aware of it yet. And I was like, no, not a chance. I'm getting anywhere near that ball.
My problem is I probably have the playing weight to be a front rower, but I think all the weight's not muscle. So
Yeah.
I would definitely be a backup water boy. 100%.
no, I reckon you've got to be the wily hooker. You're definitely a hooker type.
Oh, probably. I still run
Yeah.
around a touch footy these days at
Yeah.
the grand old age of 56. I still have a run around.
Oh,
Jay definitely gives a face massage in the scrum.
of course.
Yeah.
He knows how to get away with it. He does the Tommy. Don't worry, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I think of all these players, yeah, I think they're fairly right. I just realised as we were talking about front rowers that there is a team of the year I haven't even bothered to do the graphic for, so I can pull it out later and I'll tell you who they are. Yeah, anyway. So this is, I'm going to go game by game here because this is the last round. But as you can see, it's not going to really matter because no one played any of their friggin' players the last round. So Grant Anderson scoring 3.82 is fantastic for him.
Ooh.
And it makes
Well,
no
I reckon
change to
he'll
the
have ended
board
on
because no one was on the
3.82.
board. What's that?
I reckon Grant Anderson finished on 3.82 would be my guess.
I can pull that out. I can find out where he finished, actually. He may have scored, no, because he would have played other games. So if you played a game, he would have scored something, but not a lot.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because you still score even if you're not in the top three. But you only
True,
score
yeah.
like 0.2, 0.3 at a time
Point
or something like
something.
that. Okay, so I think we all kind of know what's going to happen. I mean, the West Tigers don't score any more points. Olakau'atu scored those points, so he moves up slightly.
14.
So he gets into the top 10 for now.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And we've
He
got
did have a good game.
Tedesco
Rest there.
scoring some
Keary.
points. Cameron Murray, yep. So that brought Keary up to 12th.
Right.
Here he moved up. Yep.
And then obviously no one played of any
No,
significance in that
so-
game.
No. Yeah.
It meant
Yeah,
Sarko
Fennery
jumped in
was
front of
terrible.
Gutherson, which I don't agree with, but that's fine.
Looks good for Ponga. Could everyone being rested? But anyway, we'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Ooh, Nathan not scoring.
Didn't score. Which meant,
That was me.
yep, you cost him the hyper res by not giving him the 3 points there, but that's fine. Yeah, so he's going to finish.
Brighton had that absolute wow of a game.
Yeah, we couldn't do much about it. You can only score what's in front of you. If you would have played better, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Ponga doesn't score.
Ponga didn't score.
Ooh.
You can talk to our friend John Mundell about that one. So he didn't score.
Clearly an agenda against Kalen.
He didn't even
Ben
play.
Hunt jumped up.
Yeah, Ben Hunt. Everyone's going ahead of Gutho, which I don't agree with, but that's fine.
Because he had a bye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not bad.
that was
Tino
very
getting some
light.
points. That's not
I
going to
was
make
trying
any
to figure out
difference.
who to give points to in that Canterbury team. That game, I remember.
Yeah, it's
that.
pretty bad. And then Fafita jumps in front of Gutherson as well by 0.01 of a point. No, sorry, it's 2-1, not 5-1. And I scored this one, and you can all argue with me, but Jesse Ramian was friggin' great in that game. So, but he's not going to do any good. So that basically means Sean Johnson's our winner.
I think that's about right. I'd have him.
Drinkwater just behind
Barony
him,
for
Ponga
sure.
in third, Reece Walsh in fourth, Cleary in fifth. I think that's all pretty good. Harry Grant's there, Payne Haas. Daly Cherry Evans had a pretty good year, jumped up a bit at the end there, scored some points. Yo and Dearden, Noel Quatter just outside. So, yeah, I think that's fine. That's
Yeah,
pretty good. The
I
top
think
25's pretty damn good. So, I mean, I didn't really do a most improved, but I mean, Who do you guys want to give a nomination to who you think the most improved player of the year was?
Well, as I said, bizarrely, I'd go Sean Johnson based on his form of last year.
Yeah. We'll give him every
Yeah, I
award.
thought-
Let's give him the rookie of the
I
year
thought he
as
should
well.
have retired last year, and then he comes out and plays like that again. But,
Yeah, he was very
I
good.
know that's definitely not what we're talking. For me, in terms of player who I thought kind of lifted to me, Lindsay Collins. We talked about Lindsay Collins before.
Yep.
He was a player to me. When I watched him, it was like one of those ones who, like Gagai, plays good for Queensland, does little for the Roosters, and the back in after Origin 3, I thought Collins was awesome for the Roosters. I thought he was so good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought Jermaine Osako went from
Yes.
not being a first grader
He
pretty
went from
much.
meme. He went from meme to something actually usable. Yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't make the top 25, but I thought
No, he is. He's there, 17th.
the growth. No, a different player here. The growth of Matt Timokor
Oh yes.
was excellent. Yeah,
Well, I've got him as
really,
Canberra. We've
really
got him as
like
Canberra's best player this year, so that's
Yeah,
he was fantastic. I really think he in the games that I judged him in a few games, and he got points for me, and I think he was really,
I
really
think
good.
I gave him a lot of points too.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I think Nick Meaney continues to be valuable for the Storm, and
Yeah.
he obviously had a good year because there was no Pappenhausen there to take points away from him, and take him out of the team. But I think he played really well. But yeah, look,
Hopgood for Parramatta, I think, is a guy who's developed a lot. Come on, really, he was to make the Origin team and deserve his spot.
yeah, he was
Yeah,
he was very good early, and then he kind of went. I think a long season for someone who hasn't played a full season was tough for him. But,
yes.
yeah, I think he played pretty well. I think it was. Like you can see, he's in the top 25, so he obviously did play well. But
I
yeah,
think I have to give a mention to young William Walters, who had
True,
just
yep.
Yeah.
from being an absolute nobody last year to being a first choice hooker in one of the best teams in the competition. That is just something else.
that is definitely a good
And
call.
being a man of the match in a preliminary final.
Yeah,
Yeah, he. 6 months ago, you were saying why they even picking him in a team?
He's only in
Now
the team because he
more than
was
justified displays.
Well, I mean, because you look at what last year when Brisbane were trying to figure out who their hooker was going to, like who their hooker long term was, and they kept sort of playing around with Turpin, and then they had what's that other fella, the younger guy?
Corey Pakes.
Yeah, Corey Pakes.
Corey
And
Pakes.
no one wanted Billy Walters, and it was like, well,
No.
obviously he's become the choice.
I still think Corey Pakes has got a future somewhere. If a club needs a hooker, he should be top of the shopping list.
Yeah. So I know that we haven't really done. I haven't really done the rookie ones, but what about we talk about rookies? So I don't know. The description of a rookie means that you can't play more than a certain number of games. Basically, guys that have either started at the end of last year and maybe played a few games, or they've played only this year. I mean, I don't know who else. I don't know who else you kind of pick apart from the major kind of guys everyone's talking about. But has anyone got a suggestion for what they think rookie of the year should be, or who they should be?
I was happy. I was happy with Buller,
Yeah.
but
Preston for Canterbury, I think, was a standout for them.
Yep.
and I think it goes. I don't really like the way in general though. People seem to go, oh, it has to be someone who's with a crap team because they're standing out more. That like it's harder.
Yeah.
I sometimes think the way that, like for instance, this year, Taruva and Warbrick both came in and were not off the pace at all in terms of matching their top four teammates. I thought was really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think either of them deserved to win Rookie of the Year, but I thought that was a bit of a weird point that people would try and make, that someone doesn't deserve it because they're in a good team, because you still have to play well to be in that team.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the same thought process in terms, I think people go with Coach of the Year. It's, Coach of the Year generally goes to most improved. Or,
Yeah.
team that's outperformed versus expectations, and they get Coach of the Year. Whereas, the Coach of the Year, to me, is still Cleary, because the team is just so good. The players who they lose, and they are still a class above nearly every team in the comp.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
My
I,
rookies that are outside the top shout would be Lofi Khan Pereira at the Titans,
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
yeah, I like
Warbrick
it.
at the Storm,
Yep.
and Katoa at the Dolphins.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah, I think he needed to
Yeah.
play more this
Uh,
year, but he just
Yeah.
didn't get enough
I think
games.
longevity wise, I think they managed him very well.
Mm.
Just taking him out if he ever needed a rest and stuff, but of course that's going to hurt your chances to win. Yeah, the Rookie of the Year.
Played
award.
22 games, Katoa, which is not
Yeah.
bad for a first season
No, not at all.
in the halves.
I'd like to. I know this is Parramatta of me, but I'd like to throw Brendan Hands in there as well. Not that he was anywhere near any of these other guys, but I think in a tough situation where, you know, the guy they wanted to play hooker for the whole season basically played almost no games, and he kind of got thrown in. And he's not really a hooker. Like he's played halves most of his junior career.
Yeah.
The week before he started at hooker, he was playing number 6 at New South Wales Cup. So, you know, like I think he's done pretty well, and I mean, hopefully, I feel like at some points, very much like some of the others, I feel like they kind of massaged him a bit at the end there, and they kind of rested him a bit. So, you know, kind of, but he had some great games. Like some of the games he played, that one where he played the full 80, I think it might have been Canterbury. I can't remember who they played, but he was just great, like really good player, and you could tell the difference when it was actually. As Parramatta fans early in the season, we were actually waiting for Hodgson to get off the field so that we could actually start playing better footy, because he was better better at getting the attack around the field.
Yeah, because it was like it's not as if he was the best hooker in the comp, but it was how much of an upgrade he was on the guy he came in and replaced.
Yeah,
It like made him stand out so much. Hey?
yeah, I think so. I can't honestly think of any other ones.
But Terrell May and Siwa Wong at the Roosters finished.
Yeah, Siwa Wong was very good.
Terrell May actually played all year, but he played really well. But Wong played only 10 games and came on strong at the end. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, he really found his feet towards the end.
yeah, I think that they probably underutilized him. They really should have brought him in a bit earlier. I mean, he showed that he played internationals at the end of last year. He showed he can play. So yeah, I was wondering when they were going to bring him on. But yeah, all right. While we were talking, I pulled up the team of the year, so I'll chuck that on. I don't know if you guys can you still see that? Yep. So this is based on the numbers. So we've got Drinkwater at fullback. The wingers are Osako and Young. You've got Campbell Graham and Stephen Crichton, Din and Johnson, Payne Haas, Harry Grant, Fanul Blake, Olkawatu, Fafita, Yo, and Jaden Campbell as 14th man. So 14, the way that it did it was you had to start the game as a bench player to score as a 14th man. So that's why Campbell is 14, because he started a lot of games as a bench player. Which I still don't know how that works for them going forward, but we'll find out next year, I suppose. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. If there's anyone else want to talk about, you know, moments in the season that they think were interesting or important or anything like that, we can chat about that. But apart from that, I think we're pretty much done.
I would like to just say thank you for giving us the opportunity to score the games, and just say how much I really enjoyed doing it. It makes a big difference the way that I watch the games, and I just absolutely love doing it.
I think I probably should take the opportunity to thank you guys, and obviously everyone else out there who didn't join us tonight, couldn't do it, for helping me out and doing all the scoring. And you know, I do agree. I think I watch a game in a bit of a different way, and towards the end there, I started a little bit. I think maybe the season got to me only because, you know, I didn't enjoy this season as much.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, but I really kind of enjoyed it earlier on, and sort of watching these games, and then waiting to see what you guys thought as well. You know, what we kind of all thought about teams and things like that. So.
That's what I find interesting. Yeah, you see the other judging, you kind of go, up until they went behind closed doors, you kind of, some you agree with, some you don't, but that's all part of it. But for me, I get the added benefit because I bounce everything. I get my dad to watch the same game, and then he gives me his 3-2-1s, and we compare, and that helps me think, have I got on the right page? So it gives me a tie to my dad. As you say, we watch the games differently. What I find is I pay a lot more attention to errors.
Yep.
So someone will do some good things, but then I'll see, hang on, they got 3 crosses. No, take them out of your points.
Yeah. That one really does get you because, you know, and this is the constant argument that I have with, like, you know, guy. Say I'm watching like a Parramatta game or something. The constant argument I have with other Parramatta fans who will talk to me how great, you know, this one player has been, and you're like, but he made like 3 errors, and they were really important errors. He may have done a fantastic thing and scored a try and stuff like that, but was he really that good? And I think that's what this shows. I think everyone who scores this tends to look at it more holistically than they kind of do if they just kind of, the Dally M's are a lot more about who's the big name player and who do they know.
Whereas and who did the flashy play?
And I mean,
so
the guy who won was still fairly flashy, but he had a great consistent season too. It wasn't like he was. I mean, if you said who's the highlight player this year, you probably would go Reece Walsh, right? Because I think he did the most highlight plays. He was like probably the most dynamic player in this list. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's right, but feels like maybe him and maybe Drinkwater, maybe Ponga. You know, but at the end of the day, Johnson ends up winning, and I think he was just consistently good all year, rather than being the most flashy player.
Yeah, and those guys like Walsh does lots of flashy things, makes lots of errors.
Yeah.
So to me, when I'm judging that pulls him down, and so he might not get the 3, he might get the 1, because I'll put someone in who's been more consistently good over that. I mean, that's for me when I judge it. That's the same thing with front rowers. A lot of them miss out. I think they play so good for 40 minutes, but you're only out there for 40 minutes, and so you're looking for someone who's more consistent across the 80.
Yeah, true. All right, well, look, I think that's going to do us for tonight. So thank you again, guys, and we'll see how I feel in the off season, whether we come back again. But I have a feeling we probably will. It just means that I have to commit myself to a whole bunch more Excel typing and things like that. But
appreciate your work.
Nah, it's fine.
Thank you very much, mate.
That's all right.
Yes.
And look,
I'm definitely available next year if you're doing it again.
Yeah, no, I think I probably will. I mean, I get to the end, I get a bit tired, and then I do this. Last year I did the awards one. Last year I did it, and no one could hear what we were talking about. So this year I know it's working. I haven't done it live onto YouTube this time. I'm just gonna upload it later. So I might do it tomorrow or something. But it's just great to talk. This is the whole reason I do it, is to chat to guys about footy. So. Doing something like this, and I can hear all your voices and stuff, and even just the chat in the DM is great. Like it's great to kind of not just hear at that, but like in the DM the other day, like Sean puts the thing up about, hey, if you want to come watch me play a game of footy at whatever age I am, and like it's it's forming a like a footy friendship basically. So I like doing that kind of stuff as well.
That's good fun.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll let you guys go and get on with your night. And everyone who's still listening on the podcast or the YouTube, thank you out there for listening as well. And I'll have some more stuff coming up eventually. I'm probably not going to try and do things week by week anymore. I'm getting a little bit to the point now where I'm just going to pick and choose my topics and do them at staggered points. And I might do a lot in a row and maybe not so much in a row, but I do have a whole bunch of stuff lined up. I think some of you guys are involved with, so we've just got to find times to record them all, and then we're going to have a heap of fun doing them, and then other people can listen to us having fun. All right, thanks guys, and I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'll hit stop. That is